Hi everybody, I'm Kimberly Turner from cookingwithkimberly.com, and today I'm going to show you how to bake chocolate shortbread cookies for the holidays or for any time. Shortbread goes anytime, I'm telling you what, but we're going to do chocolate ones. We like to do shortbreads every year, and we like to do them just a little bit different every time. So today I'm going to show you how to do the chocolate ones. Alright, so start with a nice mixing bowl. I'm going to use a hand mixer today, so use a bowl appropriate for that. We're going to combine 1/3 of a cup of icing sugar. In that goes. I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. I've got a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/3 of a cup of sugar, and I'm just going to use a wooden spoon to stir that around and kind of intermix all of these nice dry things before I put the butter in. Perfect. So I have 1 cup of butter. It is softened, it's room temperature. And in that goes to my bowl. Don't waste any of that butter. The main point of shortbreads is that they're nice and buttery. Right, Mom?
Yes, and lots of butter.
Lots of butter. Use lots of butter, Mom says. All right, we're going to combine that until it's nice and smooth and creamy. Well, that looks nice and evenly combined. You're going to see that it's light and fluffy and creamy. All right. So you can use bittersweet chocolate or you can use semi-sweet chocolate. So I've just melted a couple bricks of semi-sweet chocolate over a double boiler, and it's just melted, okay? So I'm going to combine my 1 egg yolk, that's room temperature, and I'm also going to add about 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Now, if you are trying to use artificial, please don't do that. Artificial vanilla is made from something called vanillin, which is a byproduct of making paper. It's not vanilla at all. Please don't use that. It's not even good for you. All right, so stir that in with the egg yolk. My chocolate is not hot. My egg is not going to scramble in there. That's important too. All right, so I'm just going to add this stuff in here. Don't waste any of the chocolate either. All right, so we're just going to use our mixer, and we're going to stir this through to combine it evenly. Ooh, the smell of chocolate makes me happy. These would be beautiful for Valentine's Day or Easter, and they're fun to bake with the kids. That looks good. So I'm going to add my flour in small bits. I'm going to do it in thirds, okay? You don't want to over mix your shortbread because it messes with the texture. You want it to be nice and flaky and crispy, right? So we're just going to do 3 additions, roughly. I'm going to stir that on low with my mixer just to combine before I add more. All right, the next third, same thing. This is 2 cups of flour, and my last third, and stir that through. Don't worry if you see it just a little bit crumbly, because we're going to knead this together to make sure it all sticks. As that butter warms up while you're rolling them out and with your hands, it will keep everything together nicely. Looks good. Perfect. Would you like a beater?
Oh, sure.
My favorite thing is the dough. All right, so I'm going to show you this is just mixed enough. You might even see some of the white flour and cornstarch and sugar a little bit separate, and that's okay if it's a little marbled and stuff. So I have a nice mat or pastry sheet. I've got an awesome wood cutting board. It's burnt. I have an awesome wood cutting board that can be also used as a pastry sheet. It even has measurements for pie dough and things like that, so it's very handy and nice and smooth. So let's get some bench flour on here. You don't need a lot, just a little. You don't want it to pick up a whole bunch of extra flour in here because you have the proportions probably just right. All right, so put that around. We're going to dump this out onto our bench. Oh, it feels good. It smells so good. If you taste the dough, if you like dough like I do, and it's not quite as sweet as you would like it, go ahead and add another tablespoon or maybe 2 of icing sugar, and all should be well. It's really up to you. And it depends on if you're going to be decorating these after with, you know, candy sprinkles or decorations, okay? So if you're going to add something extremely sweet on top, then maybe hold off on that extra sweetness. And it also depends on if you use bittersweet chocolate or semi-sweet. That's a big difference. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to knead this together. I need this to come together. Knead in a different way. So we're going to push it together, pull it together, flip it over, press it together nicely, and we're going to form the shape of a disc. So it's going to pick up a little bit of this flour from your hands and from the board, and that's cool. That's exactly what you want. Now you're going to push it together. You're going to see you might even have some cracks in some places where it's not quite the exact same texture, and that's totally fine because this is going to rest for a little while. It's going to cool in your refrigerator, and when you bring it back out and you roll it out with the rolling pin, it's going to do all the rest of that work for you. The whole key is not to overwork this dough. Okay, so I've brought it together and squished it down flat, kind of like a disc. This is going to help me already with the rolling out process and when this is going to be cool. It's hard to move dough when it's cold. So I'm going to give myself a nice head start, make it into a nice disc, and we're going to put this in some plastic wrap and let it cool in the fridge for 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, so I'm just going to use a nice handy spatula, a nice big one, to help transfer, just to make things a little easier. Right in the center of your plastic wrap. And we're just going to wrap this guy up.
The dough is delicious.
It's very delicious dough. All right, so we're going to put this guy on somewhere cozy in your refrigerator for 20 minutes. You'll see me then, and we're going to roll them out and get cracking. All right, it's been in my refrigerator for 20 minutes. Now you're just going to take it right out of the plastic wrap, slide it onto your pastry sheet or bench. Don't worry if it's kind of crumbly. That's intentional. It's going to be firm to the touch. I don't want it to be just soggy. So instead of using bench flour, I'm going to use icing sugar to roll this out and to coat my bench. You don't want to use any more than you absolutely have to while you're dealing with these shortbreads. Okay? So you're going to preheat your oven to 300 degrees Fahrenheit while you're rolling out these cookies. Make sure that you dust your rolling pin as well. So you're just going to work from the center through to the outside, and this is going to sort of melt that butter in a little bit again, bring it back up to room temperature. If it's starting to stick at all, put a little bit more icing sugar on there. You don't have to use icing sugar. By all means, you can use bench flour if you don't have the extra icing sugar. Okay? So we're going to roll this out to about, I don't know, between a 1/2 inch and a 1/4 inch thickness. If you wanted to do bars or squares, then I would do 1/2 inch. If you want to do cookies like we're doing, go ahead and roll it out in between that. You want to keep it nice and even, work that dough. If they are crumbling apart, that's okay. Just means it needs to warm up a little bit more. Okay, push them back together. It's very forgiving. Just don't rush. I remember making shortbreads with my mom since I was little. Every year we make shortbreads of a different variety. And don't worry about the whiteness on top of this cocoa-y dough. When you're baking them up, it's just going to absorb right in. It'll be all good. All right, these are rolled out to the thickness I desire, and that's what it looks like, okay? Yours should look like this too. Now, prepare a cookie sheet with a silicone mat or some parchment. Today I'm using my SmarterBaking nonstick silicone baking mat. Make sure you check out our contest for these. We have 4 of them going out to the States and 1 going to Canada before Christmas time. And if you want to purchase these online, go to Amazon.com or Amazon.ca. Look up SmarterBaking and tell them Cooking with Kimberly sent you. If you inbox them and tell them that, they'll give you an extra 40% discount off. Okay? They're awesome stocking stuffers. They're amazing. They keep everything baking evenly, heating evenly, and they're completely non-stick, easy to clean up. Make sure you check out my review on them. All right, so I've picked out, you can do squares, like I said, or bars. You can cut them freehand if you want to. But today I'm going to use some cookie cutters because, you know, it's the holidays. So we have a snowman, we've got a bell, I have a star, and I have a Christmas tree. So we'll just kind of make a couple of each of these. I'm using icing sugar to dip my cookie cutter in before I try and cut these so that they don't stick to the dough. Okay, so do your best to manage the dough and use the most of it up as you possibly can. Don't leave any extra spaces. You don't have to. Now I have an icing spreader. You also maybe a cake lifter, you can call it. And that's the easiest way to pick these cookies up off the bench that you're working on so as not to disturb everything else so much. So you could use a spatula if you wanted to, but this nice little thin spatula is really ideal. So make sure you cut right through. And we're going to bring that out. And it's beautiful. It's holding together its shape. And there we have a beautiful star. Now we're just going to arrange these on the baking sheet so that they are not touching. So we're going to leave at least an inch between each cookie that we are putting on the baking sheet because they will spread a little bit. It has a lot of butter and they're going to get a little bit wider. So I'm going to go ahead and just start getting my cookies done. Take your time. This is the joy of the holidays. Do this with the kids. Have a great afternoon. My favorite part of shortbreads is the dough, so I always sneak the raw dough. Just saying. This is definitely something I remember doing as a family. So here you go. Here's my first round of cookies. They look beautiful, and let's just continue to fill up our baking sheets until they're full. Okay, and you've used all your dough up. All right, so I still have at least another tray to do. There's still enough dough for that. But I'm going to decorate them now because I'm going to get my first tray in. You're going to bake them on 300 degrees for 20 to 25 minutes. And you're going to check them at 12 minutes just to make sure all is well and copacetic, okay? So today, I'm kind of going a little bit minimalist just because it's nice. The chocolate is going to be more impressive than anything. So I have some of these beautiful silver balls, the silvers, like this, and I have some red sprinkles. So I'm going to just go ahead and decorate as I see fit. I'm going to put 3 buttons on the chest of the snowmen. Now when you're pushing the decorations on, do your best not to push the cookie apart because it is a little bit crumbly, and that's okay. That's what you want with these beautiful cookies, but you don't want to push them apart intentionally, okay? Just set them in. You can do them 1 tray at a time or 2 trays in your oven at the same time. I'm going to put a silver too at the bottom of the bells, right where the it would ring. The silvers now, if you don't push them in just enough, they tend to pop off. So push them in. And this is the most fun part to do with the kids. If you want to do the whole rest of the recipe, all the way up until when you're decorating, which is very much an option, go ahead and do that. Kids don't, they enjoy the decorating, I think, more than anything. I'm going to put one of these little silvers at the top of each tree as though it's a star. You could do diagonal lines of the silvers to make it look like garlands. You could put eyes on your snowman if you want. And I'm going to use the red sprinkles for the stars because they're sparkly. And I'm just going to sprinkle them on and tap them ever so gently into the cookie without spreading the cookie and changing its form. If some of them spill off the side, that's okay because you have your beautiful SmarterBaking baking sheet underneath, and that's going to keep everything from getting melty and gooey and sticky. Easy cleanup. There's a wide variety of these sprinkles and things like that. It's a great place to get them is at your bulk store. They usually have some nice fresh items and a lot of variety as well. They add a little bit of glitter and glamour to your cookies, a little bit of fun, and a little bit of sweetness as well. All right, they're ready to go in. I decorated the Christmas trees as though they had little balls on them or little garlands like this or little balls like that. I put some eyeballs on a couple of the snowman as well. They look nice. So you can do it any way you like. into the oven. These are going to go 312 minutes. You're going to check. Ready? So in the meantime, I'm going to finish cutting out my cookies. And then what you're going to do is you're going to piece your dough back together. And I'll show you how to do that after you're done the first set of cookies. Okay, once you can't get any more cookies out of your dough, you've used it all the space up as you possibly can. You're going to squish it all back together again. That's important why you don't want to use too much flour, icing sugar on the bench while you're rolling things out and things. So you don't want it to be too crumbly that you can't even roll it back out again. So squish it back together. Lightly dust the bench again. Lightly dust your rolling pin. And just continue with the exact same process. I'm going to squish it down a bit. And we're going to roll it out to the exact same thickness as it was before, as best you can. Again, it's forgiving, so if you have to help squish things back together, go ahead and use that heat of your hands to melt that butter to keep things together. Sometimes your hands are the best tools around. So just squish that back together, make sure that it's not crumbling apart. Roll it back out. Rinse and repeat as many times as you can until you can't get any more cookies out of it. And then you eat the last piece of dough. If things look a little cracked, just push them a little bit back together. Looks good. What a beautiful dough. It's quite obedient. Okay, more cookies. All right, I'm about to take my first tray out. And they look lovely. Mom has stolen one to test it. And that's what they look like coming out. We're gonna let these guys sit here on the baking sheet for 5 minutes. They are ooey gooey, very soft and fragile at this point. So we need them to kind of solidify up a little bit, let the pan a little bit cool before we remove them carefully to a cooling rack, okay? In the meantime, I'm going to put my second tray of cookies in, already decorated, into the oven. Mom says they're really good. Now, I checked them at 12 minutes. They weren't done. Checked them at 16. They weren't done. I let them go to 20 minutes today. And that's when I was satisfied. So we'll see you in about 5 minutes. And I'll show you how they come out. All right, it's been just enough time to help them solidify, just enough to remove them. Can you see that? Beautiful. So put them on a cooling rack, and you want them to cool completely before you serve these or store these. They look beautiful. Look at the stars. Aren't they pretty? Nice. And repeat with your subsequent cookie sheets full of cookies. Nothing is burnt. I'll show you exactly what these sheets look like after I remove these cookies, and you'll be like, wow, that's crazy. Now don't forget, these little sprinkles are just pure sugar, okay? So they are going to caramelize up on your baking sheet if you use just a baking sheet, and you have a big mess to have to clean up, and that's no fun. You want to enjoy the holidays, not work so hard. These cookies are beautiful, and what a nice change from regular shortbreads to chocolate. So, pick this up for you, show you this. You can see there's red sprinkles here still on there, and they have not caramelized and not stuck. So you're simply going to pick up these silicone mats, and you have a clean baking sheet. Look at that. Perfect. I love these things. Make sure you get in on our contest because you would love to have one of these or give one of these away as a gift. All right, these guys are cooled and we can serve them up for dessert. So let's plate them up. I think maybe I'll just make lines of the individual ones. All right, I'm ready to serve these up with tea and coffee for everyone for dessert. Don't they look cute? Look at the little snowmen. Ready? Snowmen. And the bells. Nice. And then the Christmas trees. You can decorate however you like. And my stars. Beautiful, right? Very nice. Good presentation. They almost look like gingerbreads. And now I'm going to try one for myself. Let's see. Good crispy crunch. Good texture, just like a regular shortbread, but it has that kick of chocolate. Delicious. Now that's a great Christmas cookie. You see the layers, how it's kind of flaky and crispy. Delightful. I can't wait to finish a couple of these off with my coffee this evening. And I hope that you enjoyed this recipe for how to bake chocolate shortbread cookies. Perfect for the holidays, or you can do any shape for any other occasion. They're absolutely delightful. You could do them for Mother's Day or a birthday even. Depends on what your occasion is. Would be great for showers of any kind, a wedding or a baby shower, you know, in different shapes. Anyhow, make sure you check out the Smarter Baking mat on Amazon.com or Amazon.ca or SmarterBaking.com, and tell them that Cooking with Kimberly sent you, and you'll get a fantastic 40% discount off of the already amazing price. So make sure you do that and enter our contest to win one of these guys. All right? They're really wonderful. So that's it. That's how you bake chocolate shortbread cookies. I know you're going to love this recipe, and so are your kids. All right? That's it. Follow me on Twitter at Cooking with Kim E with a capital E. Like the fan page at facebook.com/cookingwithkimberly. My shows are on ifood.tv/cookingwithkimberly, youtube.com/cookingwithkimberly. You can find my channel on Roku, Cooking with Kimberly, and I'm also syndicated on Apple TV and Amazon and some more places like that. Come to my website at cookingwithkimberly.com and subscribe. Interact with us and let us know what's going down in your culinary world, all right? Be a champion in your kitchen and eat deliciously. Bye.